Hey guys, it's Michael. In this video, I'm going to show you how to get started with the new ThinkCrew beta. We're going to cover 5 different things, although pretty briefly. The first is we're going to create a project, then we're going to invite a user, upload a script, create a schedule, and then I'm going to give you a little tour of the schedule's various features. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing we're going to do is create a project, and there's 2 ways to do that. First one is you can just click this big green button here that says Create New Project, or you can go to the Projects page, and there's a similar button here, Create New Project. Either way, we're just going to take the easy way here and just click this. It's going to ask us for a name, and I'm going to name it My First Project. And there we go. We created a project. It's pretty easy. I'm actually going to create a couple different projects here just so I can show you how things look when you have multiple projects on the screen. So I'm going to create another one called Casablanca and another one called Gone with the Wind. Alright, so now that we've created some projects, you can actually see the navigation has changed a little bit here. And let me run you through this so you get a sense of where you are. We're currently on the projects page. We also now have pages called users, scripts, and schedules. And you can see we also have a thing here called the current project pull down, which lets us know which project we are currently in. And let me explain what that is. So because we have multiple projects in here, the system needs to know which project, when we make changes to things, those changes should go into. So you can see here it says Gone with the Wind, because I'm currently in the Gone with the Wind project. And that means any changes that I make to users, scripts, or schedules are only in Gone with the Wind. Over here, there's a search bar. We don't have a lot in the system right now because I've just created 3 new projects and there's nothing in them. But if I had things in here like scripts and schedules and users, I can actually search for anything in the site. Different usernames, different script versions, different schedule versions. I can search for it all right here. Over here is a link to the help site. This is a link to the bug report and the feature request, which is all one form that's online. This is a link to the old ThinkCrew site, which was the store, where you can download things like Casper, Poco, or any of the production forms. Here is alerts. We don't currently have any alerts, but when we do, they're going to show up right here. And then this is our user profile. We can also use this to log out. And you can edit your user profile. Just put a little about me in there, you can change your password, all the usual things. But I'm just going to go back to projects. Now you can see now that we have Casablanca selected, over here on the right hand side we have all the details for Casablanca. I can edit the name of it right here, or I can see the different users and scripts and schedules, and this will give us a full breakdown of everything that's in that schedule. So let's go ahead and delete these projects. I'm going to create a different project. So I'm going to select them all, hit delete. And we're going to create a new project again. It's a Wonderful Life. Now you can see that we are in the It's a Wonderful Life project, and we have users, scripts, and schedules. I am going to go ahead and I'm going to invite a user. So you can do that 2 different ways. You can either click the Add Users button right here, or you can go to the Users page and actually hit Invite Users. They both go to the same place. I'll just take the easy way again. So add users, and then you just enter in the email address of the person that you want to invite. I'm going to invite this person, which is an account that I've already set up for demonstration purposes on the site. So the person with this address already has an account here. And if I want to invite multiple users, I could just add a comma and then just keep typing more email addresses and invite as many people as I want to the project. But I'm just going to invite this one, so I'm going to click Invite. And because that person already exists in the system, they are automatically and instantaneously joined to the project. There's no approval process or anything. If they don't have an account, they'll receive an email saying, hey, would you like to join? And as soon as they join, they'll be joined into your project automatically. So I can see some different settings here for Jane Smith, and these are her different permissions. So right now she doesn't have any permissions aside from being able to read everything that is in the project. Everyone has default read permissions, meaning that they can see things but they can't make changes. But let's say that I want to give Jane permission to edit the schedule. I don't want her to be able to make any changes to the script, but let's say yes, I do want her to make changes to the schedule. I just click that button right there, and now she can make all the changes she wants to the schedule. If I want to rescind that those permissions, I just click the button again. Now she doesn't have permission to do anything. And she will be able to see that as well on her system. She gets a little notification in her alerts. You can see here I already have an alert. Jane Smith has joined It's a Wonderful Life. I'm going to go ahead and mark that as red. And that's it for inviting users. So let's go ahead and upload a script. I'm going to click Upload Script. You've probably seen something like this before. If you click it, it'll bring up a little file browser and you'll be able to find a file on your system and upload it. Right now you can only upload final draft files, FDX. The system will do its best to try to guess what the name of the script is based on what's on the title page. I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to leave it blank. Let's see if it works. I'm going to drag a file off of my desktop here. I have It's a Wonderful Life as a final draft file. I'm just going to drop it right there. And then I'm going to click Upload. Give this a second to percolate. It's got a lot of work to do to pull all that information in. And there it is. All right, so we can actually open this thing up and see that it is the actual script for It's a Wonderful Life. It's all right there. It's all formatted, and it pulled in a lot of other meta information as well, which we'll be using when we import our schedule. So and if you want to edit the details on this, you can just click this button right here, change the name. That's about all you can do right now. So let's go ahead and create our first schedule. All right, I'm going to create a schedule. I'm going to call it First Draft. And then it optionally gives me the choice here to select a script to import. Now these will only be the scripts that are in this project. Now I don't have to do this. If I don't select a script, I'll just create a blank schedule and I can just start typing in breakdown sheets on my own. But I'd like to save some steps here, so I'm going to go ahead and import that script. It's a Wonderful Life. Click Create. And it's going to think about it for a second. It's got a lot of work to do. And there we go. All right, now this is pretty exciting. We got a schedule. I can edit the details on this, change the name and the description, and do things like duplicate it, delete it. It's be pretty obvious what some of these things do. I'm just going to go ahead and open this thing up because I'm really excited to give you guys a tour. All right, let's go. All right, here we are. So it has successfully imported all of these strips. It's a Wonderful Life is a pretty long movie, so it's got 173 different scenes. And it's already brought in the cast. It has assigned them cast numbers, and it has put everything it can into a schedule. Let me give you a little tour of the layout here just so you get a sense of what all this stuff is. I know there's a lot going on here. If you're used to different scheduling software, some of this will look pretty familiar. Over here on the left-hand side, you have a breakdown sheet. Over here on the right-hand side, you have your strip board, which operates just like any other strip board. You can move the strips around in the usual way. There's also some tabs up here at the top. Let's take a look at those. So breakdown is what we're currently in. The recycle bin is something that you might know in other software as a boneyard. It's a place where you can put strips that you're not currently using in that strip board. So let's say I don't need scene 5 anymore. I just click recycle and it ends up in the recycle bin. I'm going to go ahead and move that back though, because I think we need scene 5. Over here, I can actually see the script, same way that I could see the script before. And down at the bottom is the day out of days. Now the day out of days isn't currently activated because I don't have any day strips on here, and of course you can't have a day out of days without day strips. So we're going to come back to the day out of days in a minute. All right, so in the breakdown sheet, usual fields you might find in any other scheduling software, it'll be very familiar to you. And then down here are your different categories for all the different things that it imported. To add things, so let's say I want to add some characters to scene 5 here. I can click right here on cast and then select any characters. Let's say I want to put Violet and Bert into the scene. And now Violet and Bert are in there. If I want to get rid of Violet and Bert, just click the X's. Pretty easy to get rid of them. And if I had a scene with a bunch of people in it, so this scene's got a whole bunch of people, and let's say I want to make the cast section smaller so that I can see some of the other stuff more clearly, you can just click this little caret right here, and it'll roll up the entire category for you. Make things a little cleaner if you don't need to see some stuff. So that's sort of an old-fashioned way to add things to a schedule. Let's try something else. This right here is the Add Remove Element bar. Let me show you how this works. This is pretty exciting. All right, so let's say I want to put Violet back into the scene. Here's Violet. I just typed VI and it already guessed Violet. I'm just going to hit the Enter key, and now Violet's in the scene. And let's say that I want to add a whole bunch of people all at once. So I want to add Potter, and I want to add Ernie, and I want to add, you can just keep typing in this thing. I haven't moved my cursor at all. Let's say Mary and Martini. Just keep going, and as you can see here, this is going to become very powerful. The faster you can type in this thing, you could just rocket through all of this, and it doesn't just go to cast. Let's say I want to, now I currently don't have any props, but let's say I want to add some props. I'm going to add Potter's wheelchair. Now there isn't a Potter's wheelchair, so it offers me the option to create Potter's wheelchair. I'm going to take that, I'm just going to hit enter. And then here's a pull down. Now it wants to know what is Potter's wheelchair. Is it background, stunts, vehicles, props? I'm going to say props. And there's Potter's wheelchair. And now if I type in Potter's wheelchair again, it'll actually remove Potter's wheelchair. And note this, I can actually type WH for wheelchair, and it guesses wheelchair even though it doesn't begin with WH. It begins with PO for Potter. So I'm going to click that, and then it's gone. So you can actually get pretty fast with this. If I want to add wheelchair, take out wheelchair, you can see how powerful that's going to be. Here at the top corner is the menu bar. This menu bar is where everything, all the little managers and various additional things to do here. So there's the element manager, the category manager, stripboard manager, calendar manager, sort and add days. You can export your data to things like Excel or CSV, and publish PDFs. And of course there's some schedule settings you can change as well. You can create a new breakdown sheet right here, or delete a breakdown sheet. Previous and next just moves you through the schedule in the normal way. You can add a day strip. I can add a banner. The way you change the banner is to click on it and then just type right there. I can duplicate something. Let's duplicate that banner. I can merge strips together. I can group them together. This is pretty exciting. So let's say scenes 2, 3, and 4 here need to be together at all times. They have to be shot together. I can just group them together, and then anytime I click on them, I get them all at once, and they all drag like one strip now. I can move other strips, independently or in groups. I can group, I can just sort of select all these and move them around in a regular way. But they're not together in the same way that a grouped strip is together. And of course I can ungroup them if I decide later I don't want them to be grouped. We've already talked about the recycle bin. The strips are all can be viewed in different sizes, so I can view small strips if I want to see a lot of strips on the screen at the same time. Medium is what we were currently looking at when we first joined the schedule. And then the large strips will show you a lot of data on there. Now, of course, we don't have a lot of data right now because this is a brand new schedule, but if you put a lot of data into your breakdown sheets, it'll all show up here. And let's go ahead and actually use some of these different tools over here, the managers. So the element manager allows you to select and edit different elements. Right now I'm looking at George. The calendar allows you to set particular dates for this individual. So let's say George cannot work on June 10th, blackout. Just click blackout. Now we'll get a warning anytime on the 10th if he tries to work to let us know that we've just scheduled him on a day he can't actually work. I can also set travel days and fitting days and rehearsal days, and those all show up on the data days, which I will show you in just a little bit. I can also select entire days that they are blacked out, days of the week. So let's say that he can never work on Sundays or Mondays. It's pretty easy to do. You can just unclick them right there. And then linked elements. Let's say George always has to have Zuzu's pedals on him. I'm just going to type P-E-T. There's Zuzu's pedals. Now, anytime George appears in a scene, Zuzu's pedals is going to get added to it too. And if I want to, I can actually add these elements to all the breakdowns that currently exist. Let's go ahead and give that a shot. So we just click that. Now it's done. And let's go to another scene that's got George. George's character number 1. Hey, look, there's Zuzu's pedals. All right, so that worked pretty good. I can also change the category. So let's say man here is suddenly going to be a background performer. They just took all of his lines away. So if I want to change his category, I just clicked cast and then change it to background. Now I'm seeing all the background performers, and man is right there. Of course, I can renumber all of the board IDs, I can duplicate, merge, delete, all the usual things, and I can filter. So let's say I just want to see a list of characters that have the letter G in it. Pretty nice. All right, so let's see the category manager. This works pretty much the same. There's a list over here on this side, and then you can change the name of thing. If I want cast instead to be called actors, that's fine. And you can also see right down here, actors is already changed. I didn't even need to save it or anything. So let's change us back to cast, just because that's the normal name. Also, in any of these lists, you can also move things around. I can just sort of change the order of this stuff. If I want background to be first, see here, background just became first over here. You can even see it before I even close the modal. So that works pretty great. Stripboard manager, this is pretty simple. If you're used to different scheduling software, you can have multiple stripboards that show different scenarios. This is how you would create those. I could just duplicate this stripboard and then call this one, next version, something like that. And then switch which calendar it's associated with. Calendar manager operates much the same, although of course you get calendar options here, so I can set the start date. I can set different days off, or click on the days over here. Let's say that's a day off right there, and let's say that is a holiday. And I can set global travel for everyone. Say everyone who's working is going to travel on the 24th. You get the idea. So let's check out sort and add days. So let's say I want to sort everything by set, interior, exterior, day, night, and then the scene number. I'm going to just throw these from the categories to the sort by section here. I could remove any pre-existing day breaks if I had any of those there. And then I'm going to add day breaks. I could either say I want to do a pages per day, and I could say I want 4 pages per day, but I changed my mind. Let's do total days on stripboard. And let's say that I want this shoot to be 45 days long. So I just type in 45 and then hit sort and add days. And what ThinkCrew is going to do is it's going to figure out, first it's going to sort everything, put all those things together that we wanted in the order we wanted them, and then it's going to add 45 days to the schedule. Let's check out the day out of days, because there's a lot going on here that you're going to want to see. So just click on the day out of days tab. I can also click on this arrow right here to open and close this section. And you can see all the different elements here. I can select, if I had multiple categories, I can select the day out of days for those particular categories. I can select a date range. Currently, my show is starting on June 10th, but let's say I want to see the week before, because I'm going to put rehearsals and all sorts of stuff there. I can say that. Let's say I only want to show the first week of shooting. I could show just the first week of shooting. I'm going to go ahead and reset that to the full shoot. I can show the days off and toggle that or turn off the days off if I just want to see a compressed version that's skipping any day that I'm not shooting. I can show a count at the very, very bottom here. You see these numbers down here. This is a count of the number of elements that are working that day. That could be handy for things like day out of days for trailers. But here's the really cool part. I can, when I make edits to the schedule here, let's drag some strips around. Watch the day out of days as I do this. The day out of days is live. Any changes that I make to the schedule are being reflected in the day out of days as I make those changes. And that's super useful. Now I can really get a handle on exactly who is working. Also, this is very scrollable. You can see as I scroll here, I never lose the names of the elements. I never lose the dates, and I never lose the total over here on the right-hand side. So you can see as I scroll around here, I'm always able to see all that information, and then just the middle part is moving. But what if you could move these actual columns here? Now things are going to get crazy, because let's say I want this Thursday to be the first day of shooting. I can just select it and then move it just like that. And you can see the strip board changed as well. So it's actually going both directions. Both changes that I make to the strips affect the day out of days, and changes that I make to the day out of days affect the strips. It's all one data set, and there's multiple ways to move this stuff around. I can select multiple days, just like I can select multiple strips, and move these things around. It's a pretty handy way to move information around and make changes to your day-to-days. That is about it for the little getting started video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. There'll be more videos showing more detailed information on each one of these sections. This was a pretty broad strokes view. If you have any questions, please hit us up on Facebook or Twitter, and we're happy to answer them. And I really hope you enjoy using the site. Thanks very much.